For our next discussion, I'd like to call in our moderator, Ms. Daisy Marquez. She is the Managing Director of CNAG Solar. And Daisy will be the one to introduce our panelists for this discussion.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Are we still okay? You know, it's difficult to compete with lunch. So since we're starting at 11:45, is it okay that we'll flow into maybe 12:30? So we're going to have like a not so late lunch, but beyond 12. Is that okay? Okay, well, actually, all right. My pleasure to introduce the panelists who will, prior to the panel discussion, make a short presentation because there are very interesting stories with their experiences in the islands. But let me introduce them by order of their presentation. First, you've already heard GM Rene, Hilagut. I'm sorry, GM. I can never get around your family name. Okay, GM Rene has more than 30 years experience in rural electrification. He is currently General Manager of Romblon Electric Cooperative and Chairman and CEO of the Cantigas Mini Hydro Power Corporation, which is a wholly owned subsidiary corporation of Romelco. He is also current president of the Association of Isolated Electrical Cooperatives, an association of 39 electric co-ops, mostly located in the island provinces. He's also regional president of the National Association of General Managers, or the NAGMEC, and the PhilReca, Philippine Rural Electrification Cooperative, Rural Electric Cooperatives Association. GM Rene is instrumental for the development of the Caningas Mini Hydro Power Plant in Sibuyan, that's in Romblon, which became operational in 2009. The mini hydro supplies between 80 to 90% of the annual energy requirement of the island with 60,000 inhabitants. Another pioneering project of GM Rene is his involvement with a 30 kilowatt diesel energy storage hybrid system, which he's going to talk about this morning, which was the first in the Philippines. It's located in the island of Cobrador in the municipality of Romblon, serving 246 households, and was inaugurated this March 2016. GM Rene earned his electrical engineering degree at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines in 1986. Married and has 3 children. The second presenter is Dr. Tony Frey. Tony earned his PhD in physics from the University of Basel, Switzerland, shortly after graduating. He worked for several years at the IBM Research Institute in New York, as well as in Switzerland, in the field of high-temperature semiconductors. His professional career in product design, product management, and general management in the microelectronic industry started with ABB in the early 90s. He spent more than 10 years working out from Singapore for Siemens and was the Asia-Pacific head for the die placement business, which he grew to become a market leader. Currently, he resides in El Nido. He has a beautiful place there. That's why a lot of the clients he's dealing with are in the El Nido area, as well as around Palawan. He started work with CNAG Solar in 2013 and is responsible for design and engineering, including the solar hybrid system, which CNAG Solar is working in partnership with Autarsis, which is a Berlin-based energy storage system company. Currently, he's working to build a 75 kilowatt peak, 250 kilowatt hour system for 2 barangays, again in the Palawan area, including a 175 kilowatt peak and 550 kilowatt hour storage for a luxury resort also around Palawan. Our third presenter and panelist is Mr. Errol Narida, who is currently president of One Renewable Energy Inc. I remember One Renewable as the first company to build the, how do you call that, the rooftop in a multi-story building in Makati. He is currently president of Renewable Energy Association of the Philippines. Errol is a seasoned businessman with more than 30 years of experience in operations and supply chain. He has 17 years of experience in the renewable energy industry, starting his career as the operations manager of Shell Solar Philippines prior to founding One Renewable Energy. Prior to Shell Solar Philippines, he held various positions in the supply chain division of Selecta Philippines, a subsidiary of the RFM Group. Under his leadership, the team initiated innovations in supply chain operations that contributed to the spectacular growth of the business. He completed his master's in management and bachelor's degree at the University of the Philippines in the Visayas. And our last presenter and panelist is Mr. Mendiola, Mr. Urbano Mendiola, who is also called Bong Mendiola, currently Vice President of the Corporate Affairs of the National Power Corporation of the Philippines. Bong Mendiola, as he is usually called, has been with the National Power Corporation for the last 41 years and has a wide experience in plant engineering and construction, quality assurance, operations, fuel management, IPP contracts management, power economics, and marketing. He is currently the head of the company's corporate planning department, revenue management department, information systems and technology department, watershed management, and corporate communications. Prior to his assignment, he rose from the ranks as a cadet engineer at the then Nuclear Power Division of NAPOCOR. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our four presenters and panelists. Jim Rene will be the first presenter.
Thank you very much, Daisy. Good morning. My works in the rural electrification for quite a long time has made me some sort of experience. I've witnessed the development in the areas, transforming the sleepy towns to a more dynamic communities. It contributes to the development of our nation. My friends, when you provide electricity in the remote areas, it really helps develop the communities. It really helps provide better living conditions to the constituents. And the same is true will happen in the small island grids that now don't have the full service of electricity. Today, I was inspired that you are here, and I'm sure you bring with you with your latest technology, with your ideas, and with your financial capabilities to perform or to do business in the small grids in providing a good service of electricity. Today, I will present to you our real-world experience with regards to putting up a solar hybrid system in a small islands, in a remote islands, in one of the remote islands in the Philippines, which is located in Romblon province. But before I go further, I'd like to present to you my cooperative. It is a non-stock, non-profit cooperative registered with the National Electrification Administration. We have a member consumers of around 23,990, so it is a small one, small cooperative. And our coverage area is composed of 6 municipalities and 4 main islands of the province of Romblon. Our core business is power distribution, and recently we have ventured to power generation business. Initially, we have operated our 1,350 kilowatt Cantingas main hydro power plant. And today, it is contributing 90%, or between 80 to 90% of energy of that island in Sibuyan. So Romblon is located practically at the center of the Philippines. And the province is composed of 7 major islands. Our franchise area is this island of Romblon, the main capital, the capital of the Romblon province, and Sibuyan Island. And these 3 island municipalities, we are doing also electrification program here. Tablas Island is being covered by 1 electric cooperative. This is the Tablas Island Electric Cooperative. Our project is located somewhere here, the Cobrador Island. It is the farthest island barangay of the municipality of Romblon. And it has the island barangays in the Philippines used to have these beautiful beaches. So the operational background of this island, initially, we have provided 100 units of 75 watt peak solar home system in 1997. So long before we've been doing solar business, solar power plant business. We are charging our consumer of 150 pesos per month. That is for 15 years. So the program is lease to own. And last 2012, most of the consumers who have been provided with solar home system has already paid their dues for 15 years. So the next stage of our electrification in this island community is the 15 kilowatt diesel generating sets, providing electricity for 8 hours and charging our customers with 30 pesos per kilowatt hour. So if you're going to compare this to the mainland, it is quite expensive. We are providing electricity to 110 households in that particular island. So this is the power plant. So knowing these charges that we have, or electrification program that we have in the Cobrador Island, we look for solutions to bring down the cost of electricity and to provide better service, a full service of 24-hour service to our customers in that island. So reach out to financial institutions, to development institutions to help us achieve our objective. Thanks to our partners, we're able to realize the Cobrador solar hybrid system. So these are our partners, the Asian Development Bank, who provided a substantial amount of grant funding. Also the Korea Energy Agency, who also provide $400,000 US grant funding. And the National Electrification Administration, who provided the loan fund to pay the balance of the cost of the system. Having implemented this project is not an easy task. We met a lot of challenges, and particularly during the construction. So first, we met the challenge in the shipment of equipment from the mainland of Romblon to the island barangay, to the island community. You know, my friends, even insurance company are not providing insurance to our equipment in for the shipment of the equipment, because the site has lack of there's no infrastructure, no port, no road network, So how can we bring those equipment there? We also met a challenge in the acquisition of land. In a small island, flat land is very precious to the inhabitants. They used to build their households, their houses in the flat lands. What left is the land uphill for us to put up our solar power plant. So that is another challenge. Definitely, when you have a power plant uphill, so it is another construction, it is another challenge for the construction of the powerhouse. Likewise, because of the lack of skills, we're able to find it hard to put up the power facilities, especially those state-of-the-art equipment. So we hired an EPC contractors. Actually, it is a foreign contractor. So this is the example of how we bring in the equipment from the mainland Romblon to the island. So we made a special boat, no, just for this purpose. It is a flat boat. There's no crane there. So we have to manually unload the equipment. And during the construction, since it is uphill, so this is the kind of location that we have. So it's located uphill around 30 meters above sea level. Yes. So this is how we crush the stones for our aggregates. No, it is our marble stones, actually. So the configuration of our hybrid system is this. So it is a 15 kilowatt genset. It has a diesel genset, and we have a 30 kilowatt solar panel and 20 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery. We have the 25 kilowatt power control system. Our beneficiaries are around 246 households. The total project cost is around $500,000 US, so that was 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. And the true cost of generation is around 28 pesos per kilowatt hour. But mind you, my friends, we're just only charging around, supposed to charge around 6.19 per kilowatt hour, the subsidized approved generation rate. We cannot charge the true cost of generation to our customers. Some pictures of the powerhouse, the completed, the solar panel, the control room with the lithium ion batteries. It was stuck in 4 cabinets. The control system and the inverters. And these are the monitoring system, control and monitoring system. And this is the genset, a 15 kilowatt genset. And we have an audiovisual room. So how the systems work? So I think we all know this one. So when there is, during daytime, solar panel will charge the battery up to 90%. We just limit the charging of the battery to 90% to the lithium ion battery. And the maximum, the minimum discharge percentage is around 20%. So we don't allow the discharging of battery below 20%. So by that time, when the battery charge is only around 20%, the diesel generator will kick in and to supply power to battery to charge again up to 40%. And then it will supply also, at the same time, will supply power to the households. So that's how the system works. No? Okay. So I will show to you the example of the load pattern before and after the implementation of the 24-hour service of electricity. So this is the load pattern since 2009 up to 2015. So during this period, during early hours, we operated for 2 hours, and during night time, we are operating for 6 hours. So between 6 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there's no service of electricity. So this load curve is typical since 2009 up to 2015. What happened after the implementation of the 24-hour service? Last 2016, actually we inaugurated the power plant on March 3, 2016. So we have built the plant for almost 6 months, no? From August 2015 to February 2016. So you can observe that during the year 2016, the daytime load curve is almost flat, and we have a reduced peak load during nighttime from 9.63 in 2015 to 8.6 in 2016. But later, along this year, no? Okay, sorry. This year of 2017, we have experienced a staggering load growth. So from 8.6 kilowatt to 20.3 kilowatt during for this year. And this time, we have experienced that the power plant is now in overload condition. So we have to take some measures not to destroy the power plant. So in this slide, I will show to you the consumption pattern of the island. So this consumption pattern is typical from 2009 to 2015, an 8-hour service. So the kilowatt hour sales per month is here. So it's just above 1,000 kilowatt per month. The consumption of the whole island. But when we implemented the 24 hours, we observed in 2016 at 40% load growth. So you can just imagine from 1,000 kilowatt hour per month to 4,600 kilowatt hours per month. And in here, we reduce our operation from this point. However, people are still clamoring for 24-hour service. So we advise them not to use not to plug in their appliances during nighttime to avoid overloading. But still, consumers are still using electricity or using other appliances. So last 2017, early this year, in 2017, you can just imagine the increase of consumption to 6,553 kilowatt hours just for the 246 households. And this time, we are forced to reduce our operation back to 18 hours to curtail the consumption and the load of the system to preserve the existing ones. So you can see here the yellow one. This is the time that we reduce our operation from 24 hours to 18 hours. So this is the current consumption pattern. So what is the energy contribution of the solar, between the solar and the diesel system? So during the first 3 months of our operation, solar has contributed a lot, no, for the energy consumption, for the energy supply, no, of the system, from 92% down to 69%. But as we go with our operation, month by month, the solar consumption has reduced. Actually, for this year, in August 2017, solar power is only 26%, and diesel has contributed 73%. and September 28%, and this October, last October, it's barely 16.49%. So that's how the load pattern, the energy contribution of the system moves. No? See? So, impact to the community, people can now afford to buy or use appliances. Yes, a lot of appliances, and even have entertainment system. And people can now play basketball during night time. What we have learned? Yes, avoid constructing massive civil work. Better to bring in prefabricated system. Simple operation, that's the advantage now. We have a remote monitoring system. Well, new technologies need special skills, and we have to train our people. Okay? So, what we have experienced, our member consumers tends to consume more electricity when available. So, these are some issues and concerns in the implementation of our projects. RA service contract. You know, I'm joking to somebody here earlier that it is faster to build a power plant than to secure a service contract from the Department of Energy. And also, a 300 square meter area that we need to build this 30 kilowatt system, we need to apply for one block. 30 seconds by 30 seconds, longitude and latitude, that is around 82 hectares. So, financial obligation to the DOE, the same with the big ones. So we have to pay this. These are the same financial obligation for the service contract for a 100 kilowatt and for a 100 megawatt and to 30 kilowatt system. And also regulatory approval, we need that. And the application for subsidy from the universal charge. The same are requirements that will be done, no, for us to secure subsidy. So a 30 kilowatt system will undergo CSP process. The same as for the 10 megawatt system who will go into need subsidy. So plans and programs, we are confident we can replicate this to the other island municipalities in our communities. And we are open for partnership and collaborate with financial institution and technology developer. And yes, of course, to make sure that our investment will be recovered, we use available, mature, state-of-the-art technology. Yes, and continuous training of our personnel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, JM Rene. That's a very interesting presentation. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but can we hold off the questions until the other presenters would have given their piece? And we've given requests that they make it shorter. So please bear with us.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tony Frey from Xenox Solar here in the Philippines. And we specialize in off-grid solutions for communities, islands, and resorts. We have a partner in Autarsis who provides state-of-the-art lithium-ion technology storage. So we combine storage, diesel, and solar. We have a parent company, Enavinci, here in the Philippines, who is responsible for project development, project financing, and operating the plants once they're built. A typical single line diagram of a system is like here. You have the storage here, you have the PV, and then as a backup, a secondary source is the diesel generator. As you can see, we can scale it from very small 58 kilowatt hours up to 5 megawatt hours plus storage. So our system is modular. So like in René's case, we could easily provide him a solution and add more storage, more PV in order to satisfy the customers. We have containerized storage solutions. Either we go for 40-foot containers, or for smaller systems, we have the small 8-foot container. As I told you before, we use lithium-ion technology from Samsung. So we have a warranty. After 10 years, we have at least 80% of the initial capacity left. Therefore, this technology is bankable. We have a battery inverter from Maschinenfabrik Rheinhausen, is also modular. So you can start small, and once your consumer pattern increases, you can easily add on here. So just a second. Okay, now up to your requirements. Here, this is a pattern here. So all you need is this user interface where you have the PV generation, the load, the battery storage capacity, as well as the backup diesel generator. All this here, all these elements you can control with this SCADA here. This can be on-site, or it can be in your office, miles away or islands away, like in the Philippines usually. So I'm living in El Nido, Palawan. 20 kilometers north of El Nido, the grid power stops. So there are communities, they have no power, grid power. What they're using now usually is an old generator that they operate for maybe between 6 and 11, 4 to 5 hours per night. And the usual pattern is that you apply for a light, you pay 100 peso per month. If you say 5 hours times 30 days is 150 hours, you use a 3-watt LED, so you have 450 watt hours, so that gives you a kilowatt hour price of almost 200 plus peso. So the generation cost is really tremendous there. Also, you have very old and outdated equipment. These are actual generators that are being used of communities there, which are more down than up. Also, schools, we run into barangay schools. They have brand new computers, never unpacked because they simply don't have the power to use them. So the kids don't have any IT education, which is really important nowadays for progress later on. Here, some of the unique challenges that you face if you go into remote areas, but however, the Filipino ingenuity doesn't have any boundaries. Whatever problems occurs, it will be solved one way or the other. Also here, you see we have to do manual track a 2-ton container, including the batteries, to the site. Also the equipment that at the port might not be sufficient for our load, so manual labor is required. Also here, a couple of things. Here we had to build a ramp from the sea to the powerhouse that we can bring in our equipment. Also, and whenever we go into a barangay, it's a community project, everybody helps out and nobody is shy to drag and push and bring the generator or whatever we have to bring in on the right place. And a special challenge will be for the co-ops to get the payments and also to protect the customers for this end of the month bill shock, we have these intelligent spark meters, so you pay as you use. Let's say you pay 500 peso for power. Once this is used up, the power stops. So people can learn after they get 24/7 electricity how to manage their power needs. Here we have the first installation here is in G Palawan. It's a resort, and before the owner used purely diesel generators. Now they finance the system, so they pay in installment on a monthly basis less than before they used for diesel. We have two more barangay projects going on. That's in New Ibahay, where they usually pay for a generator generated 5 to 10 in the evening power, 38 peso per kilowatt hour. We install a high-end hybrid system, and I think we can slash the price per kilowatt around 25 or below 25 peso. It will be, target completing date is about January next year. The same thing goes for Sibeltan, is a similar barangay next to New Ibahay, northern part of Palawan, the same here. And also we do a high-end, this is the island, Kawayan Resort. It's about 15 kilometers north of El Nido. So this has a unique challenge. So we have to observe the weather pattern. We have to time the material movement, because it's quite a lot of storage. They will get about 550 kilowatt hour storage with 175 kilowatt peak solar. And this time of the year, the Habagat season begins, and there might be big waves. Also, a big challenge will be a 220 kVA generator to bring on site. So, what is our business model? We can collaborate with the local authorities, or we also have foreign financial backup. Either way, what the local environment suits, we can provide. So usually we go for 12 to 15 years financing. And I say 12 years minimum because, as you remember, Samsung guarantees after 10 years you have 80% of your initial capacity left. So after 10 years we will upgrade the system, and then when we give it over to the local authorities, they have a system that they can run for another 10 to 15 years without any initial upgrading or financial costs. So that's all from my side. It's a brief overview what we do with Senac Autarsis here. We specialize in remote areas, barangays, and resorts. Thank you very much.